All right, before we can get out of the car, it didn't take us long to jump into the MLS and take a look through just a few listings to find another flipped house. It's local to us. I'm not going to say what town it is. I'm not trying to really aggravate anybody, but what's aggravating about this is that we're going to show you the reason we're doing these videos is because I don't want to see you get stuck with somebody else's problem. So I'm going to show you the things to look for. We haven't even gotten into the house yet. I literally have my key to get in, right here, my electronic key. I'm going to have to pop the lockbox. So we're going to just jump out and we're going to go into it. It was actually easy to pick out this house out of every house on the street where we are because it looks so poor from the outside. We knew it was a flipped house. So we're going to jump out. We're going to take a look at a few things. So let me jump out, turn the car off. So right off the hop, one of the things that you can pick up on is we're not even there yet. There's a brick missing on the front. Like if this is my house, I would have taken this brick and put it back in line. This is not a very appealing front yard. I would have this all ripped out personally and put grass in. Maybe take this tree down to open up the house. But if you look at the roof, you'll see that the roof is very discolored, and you'll see actually these black marks on the roof there. This roof is shot. You'll actually see some of the shingles peeling back on the roof. So when you guys are going out and you're shopping for a house, look at the roof. Make sure it doesn't look like this. I'm going to show you an example of a better looking roof in the neighborhood at the end of this video. But you'll see that they're popping shingles. This is a shot roof. So knowing that you have to come into this thing right away, you're going to have to replace the roof. Why didn't the house flipper replace the roof? Because it's an expensive project. The roof on a house like this is probably around $7,500. And that's just not money they're willing to put forward. So instead, they just want to make it your problem. You can see that it looks like this driveway, if we're looking at it here, was rolled. Again, this is a very uneven drive. You can see chips in it. It's old. It's going to have to be replaced. If you won't look along the driveway, all the wood is rotted out. So it's a good possibility that you'll have termite damage on this rotted out wood. And you can see they did a really crappy job right here. If you look at where the paint was rolled, right there. So that's the rolling stuff. If you look around, just simple stuff. It's not a well-maintained outside of a house. It's a typical indication of a bad flip. We got wires hanging off over here. I literally haven't even looked at this house yet. We just came out here and decided to start filming right from the get-go just to show you guys how easy it is to pick up on a poorly flipped house. So let's walk this way. You can see, look at the landscaping here, what they've done. They haven't cleaned it up at all. If I was trying to sell this house, I would have had it all ripped out. It's not that expensive to take this and make it look a little more presentable. But you have uneven cobblestones right to the front door. Let's try to get the address on there. So we're going to pop the box. We'll go inside. This is an electronic box that realtors get. All right, so we're going to walk into the house now. Like I said, the door, difficult to open. We walk in, I can tell you that already. There's a slant, there's a slope here where the floor pitches. How can you tell again? We're back into another situation where instead of putting hardwood floors down, it's laminate. It looks like hardwood, but it's much cheaper, and it's just not high quality stuff. They haven't replaced the windows. I'm not going to have you turn around to see the windows yet. Here, look at the windows. I know these aren't replacement because I can see that they're dirty. They've been used. You could look at stuff like this, but they're filthy windows. As a matter of fact, if you look in the windowsill here, you can see the debris from when they were doing work here sitting in the windowsill. So they didn't have the time to clean the windowsills. As we walk into the first bedroom here, I'll make a right. The whole floor, you can't see it, but I'm telling you, it actually pitches down. And this is it seems to be like a slab property where there's no basement. So you have an uneven slab here that could have been corrected, but instead things are just thrown together. Some simple stuff to look for. If you look at the quarter round, so you have the baseboard here, and then you have quarter round. What they do is they put this in, and I like the idea that they actually put quarter round in. But one thing they didn't do is they didn't actually fill the nail holes with nail filler or caulk and then paint over. They just threw the quarter round down and then just left it the way it is. So it's actually a primer. It's not a white. If you actually look at it, if you go back in the video, you'll see that primer and the white on the wall aren't the same color. So you have to come in and actually paint. And the idea is when you have a flipped home or a home that's supposed to be move-in ready, you don't have to do this stuff. You're supposed to bring your furniture in, set up, and it's all supposed to be done. If you look up here, you can actually see some bubbling in the paint. And you can just kind of tell what kind of paint job it was. If you look, these aren't crisp lines. This is an amateur painter who did this. You can see some of the paint is transferring to the ceiling of this. And if you go to the first bedroom here, You guys want to follow me in? We'll turn the lights on. But this floor here, this is very inexpensive flooring. This carpet is not high-end carpeting. And it's not that this is a high-end house, but you have to know that what they're using here is Home Depot quality, 99 cents a square foot carpeting. This lasts for about 5 to 6 years before it has to be replaced or actually deep cleaned, but it's not a high-quality carpet. And you can see they haven't even cleaned the windows over here. These are the original windows. Again, they didn't replace them. I always think putting new windows in a house, they left the storm windows on outside. New windows always gives a house a really nice touch, and they're inexpensive to do. They're only about, like I said, about $150 a window. And if you're having a contractor come and they're installed, it's kind of, instead of they don't hit you for $75 or $100 a window, you would just pay one flat fee. It would be part of your contract, and it would be a lot cheaper for them to install that. If you look back over here, you can see just in the baseboard, you can see the paint transfer from the baseboard, but they didn't even caulk this corner here. So again, we see this stuff now, and it seems minuscule, but the question is, what did they cover up? What did they tape up in the walls? What kind of pipes, what kind of electric have they ignored when you're looking at a house like this? So I always worry when people are working with me and they want to see flipped houses, because it's very exciting to see a house like this. You're going through the MLS, it's affordable, and it seems like it's brand new, but don't be fooled with these houses the way they are. We're going to walk this way. So like you've seen before in the past, you will see that the transition from the living room into the kitchen, they use two different tile. I don't know why they wouldn't flow with this laminate into the kitchen here. So they use this tile. If you look at the transition that they did, I mean, I really wouldn't have used this. It really doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have any color sense. I will tell you that they actually spent a little money on the appliances. But if you look here, this was probably something, it says sold on it, and it says $499 plus tax. So we know this isn't a brand new unit, or this was taken from like the PC Richards warehouse. And this is not something that came out of a box. This is probably something that's dented on the back end and got discounted in the store. Actually, if you look here, this is where the refrigerator is. Look at all these dents in the refrigerator. This is supposed to be your brand new fridge, but all these dents. So it's discounted. That's why it's Frigidaire. They probably were able to buy the whole set for really cheap because it's all banged up and dented up. And this is going to be your problem when you come here. And again, the devil's in the details, right? When you look back up here, we can see all the wipe marks. They didn't even clean this, but as I wipe this is all the caulk that's supposed to be, the grout that's supposed to be wiped off. You can see it on my finger here. We know that they left screws around. This is a window here. It's very non-typical for you to see somebody put stainless steel as the faucet in the kitchen. Most people are looking for brushed nickel. It's very uncommon to see stainless steel. It's something that was a little more popular years ago, but it's not as popular as it once was. And we just don't see that anymore, especially in a house that's supposed to be newly renovated. Now, cabinets. See these cabinets? You have all this extra space going to the ceiling in this room. But what they did was they cheaped out and bought cheap cabinets. These aren't soft close. As a matter of fact, they didn't even put knobs on. They didn't take the time to go and buy knobs for $25 and put them on the cabinet. So that's something you have to do. A lot of times we'll actually find the knobs in the cabinets. But really, I mean, it's junk. Okay, they're junk stuff. The name of the game in the flip is to come in, put a least amount of money into it, and sell it. Now, this house is on the market for like 48 days now. And the question is why? Because the craftsmanship's bad and it's overpriced. So cheap is expensive. And when you see this house at $265,000 or $270,000 in our area, you have to know that there's a reason why it's priced at this. They probably bought it for $105,000, put $50,000 into it. Now they're at $155,000, looking to make $100,000. The problem is once you start living here, you're going to pick up on these things. Once you start cleaning the house, or once things start breaking, you're going to go, what did we get ourselves into? Don't get caught by this. Let's go this way. Wires hanging out of the wall. Why would you not patch this up before you would actually try to sell this house? Why would you not come back in? This house has been on the market for almost 2 months now. So why wouldn't you come back in and put these back in the wall? This is ridiculous stuff that I can't believe people do. Fingerprints all on the wall. If you look here, they left dirty fingerprints everywhere. And I haven't even been to the bathroom. I can tell you this floor is actually popping. It's actually lifting off. If you look at this, I don't know if you can see it, but the floor is actually not, it's buckling already. We'll go into the bathroom. So here's what they did. They put a new bowl in, but it's been used, and they haven't cleaned it, so they just left it the way it is. They haven't had anybody come in here. They actually used this gold trim because I believe that what they did was they left, this is the original stuff when they bought the house, and they bought new tile, left this stuff, didn't spend the money on a new shower head, maybe $100, and they left the old knobs. This makes 0 sense to me. Nobody wants gold knobs in today's market. I don't know if you're seeing everybody in the mirror. So this is a weird thing. This is really suspicious stuff. When they don't even take the time to replace this, you have different lights here. You have daylight light bulbs versus incandescent up here. And then you have a completely open live junction box. I don't know what that's for, but it was installed for some reason because it's a new box here, but it's just left no plate put over it. I mean, literally the plate for this is 25 cents. There's no thought put into it. Let's move to the next room. All right, so we're in the final bedroom here. There's a few other rooms in the house we don't have to go into, but I just want to go over a few things. I look at the ceiling, I can see there's dirt, there's a square box here. I can actually see the square where they cut this out, and you can see the texture of the ceiling, and actually look at all the dirt prints on the light fixture here. But there's actually, if you back up a little bit, you can actually see the texture difference between this area of the ceiling. So there must have been a leak here. They cut this out and put this light in, or just did really, really poor work. If we look around again, back to those windows, why wouldn't you have these windows clean? Even if you're using the old ones, fine, you think they're good enough, you don't have to replace them. Why wouldn't you take a razor and just scrape this stuff off? Just the details that you need to pay attention to when you're looking at a flipped home. Now there's a final second bathroom in here, which I think is a decent feature, but I haven't been in here, but the same thing. They're back to these gold faucets and fixtures. It makes no sense. And if you look around, I mean, this is a textured tile with the gold again. Now, I think that they probably had to buy the gold for this. I don't, unless they had the same thing, but this is not great work. I would have somebody, if this is my flipped house, I could tell you that I would not be sitting on it for 2-3 months at a time. We would price it aggressively and get it moved, but I also would be doing work and coming through myself and checking to make sure that all the things in the house were done correctly. But we look back down here, you can see all the nail holes that were never filled. So it's just the baseboards put up, and all the nail holes were still left. They didn't caulk it at all. There's a back room here. Okay, this is like a sunroom, but you can see that nobody's been here for a while. There's actually a cricket on the floor. So when you walk into a house, the first time I've seen insects. So you know you have some kind of open area where these bugs are getting in. So you have this house that you think you're buying, and you have insects in this room that you're trying to use. Why is the house not being sold? It's not rocket science to figure out why things aren't going on. Actually, they don't have the AC on either. While we're in this house, it's beginning to get warm and sweat, because they don't want to spend the money to run the AC unit. Or maybe the AC unit's not working. It's very possible. That's the original AC unit outside. We're going to take you outside in a few minutes, and we'll go over the backyard and things to look for in the backyard as well. Hey guys, when you're looking at a house, always pay attention to what the air conditioning unit looks like. Usually we can't get a good idea right by looking at it of really the exact age, but you can get an idea of how old it actually is. If we look over here, you can see some of the insulation is getting old. And if you check the serial number, there's labels on the units. Usually you can tell what year it is. You would check this, it's something you'd be checking in a home inspection, but the life of this unit, it looks like it's installed pretty improperly. If you come back this way, you can see the block underneath it. That's not a professional way you would, and some shims at the bottom. That's not a professional way you would install this type of air conditioner. So again, when you buy this house, know it's going to be your problem to fix. You're going to have an inspection, you're going to have to this back. And the name of the game for home flippers are, don't fix it, let them ask for it, we'll give them a credit or we'll do something about it. If they catch it, they catch it. If they don't, they don't. But we have problems in this house, and I just don't want anybody. And it's funny, real quick before we finish, if you look over here, I'm not trying to get this other realtor's sign in the video, so just quickly, what we found is we found another realtor sign in the back, but it's listed by another realtor in the front. So the home flippers aren't willing to lower the price. They're going to hold tight and try to get the money out of it. And what they're doing is they're employing different real estate agents to come in because they think that's going to make a difference. These are real amateurs in the game. They don't get that it's dictated by the price of the house and the quality of the craftsmanship that's done here. So for this house, that's it. Guys, you really need to pay attention to this stuff. I've seen people buy these flipped homes, and the reason I do these videos is because it's not fair, because you don't know any better, you're not paying attention, you don't know what to look for, and we're just trying to help everybody out make the right decision. So thank you for watching. Have a good night.